Good morning, everybody. Um, Yesterday it was sinuses, and today it's a full blown cold. So I apologize if I sound weird. Um, it's not my fault. I did all I could to stay as healthy as I could, but it is not working. So I started my regimen of ginger tea and elderberry syrup, and might just need rest. But I don't have time for rest. There's no time for rest. No time for rest. Trust me, I went through my entire batch of comfrey tea this week. It's empty now. I need to go get some more. Um, Good morning. We're going to be discussing a topic um, about who created evil. So if I stop to cough and all that stuff, I have my cough drop here. So if I pause to put it in and you can't understand what I'm saying, I'm sorry. Um, Deal with it. No, I'm just kidding. Don't deal with it. It just excuse me. Okay. Did God create evil? I think, first of all, we have to identify what evil is. Um, and to do that, one must understand the nature of good. And also, one must understand what is one without the other. So, we're going to break all of that down. Since there isn't a defining marker of other than the statement that Satan fell, there is no statement in the Bible that says where evil came from. It says it was there. They said it was something that men filled their heart with, their thoughts with. But when we really break it down, I think you'll understand a little bit better what exactly that means. So let's back up a little bit to evil. Or better yet, let's break down good. There is no man good, not one. So if no one's good, then what are we? Are we blank canvases? Or are we just um, involved in a tug of war where we are the rope? God is ultimately the embodiment of everything that is light. So, in that light, there can be no darkness. So, let's use darkness and light as our analogies for evil and good. Is darkness the absence of light, or is light the absence of darkness? I'm wrong. What do you mean? What do you mean I'm wrong? I haven't even said anything yet. I mean, give me time to be wrong, and then okay. Um, is darkness the absence of light, or is light the absence of darkness? Darkness is there where light is not. Okay, you cannot generate darkness, but you can generate light. Darkness comes as a result of no light being present. And the only way darkness can overcome light is by light shining away, not by darkness overpowering light. It is not possible. The same applies to evil. Evil is not created, evil is the absence of something. Evil is the absence of God, the removal of God from your life, the removal of God from your thoughts, the removal of God as head. In steps evil because there is no light there to combat it, there is no God there to combat it. When Satan fell, he went away from the presence of God. He went away from the leadership of God. He strayed. And hence, with the absence of God as his headship, evil is there. None of it can be generated. You can immerse yourself in darkness. You can surround yourself in darkness. You can enter a dark room with nobody in it, nothing, no light, no source of light, and be completely immersed and covered in darkness and think that that is your cover and no one can find you. All it takes is someone to turn the light on or come in with a flashlight to uncover your hiddenness. When people talk about creating evil, it is their effort to justify their not listening to God. They try to justify. They try to justify. That is all that is. The same way they try to ask you about God but have no desire to know him, their goal is not to understand. Their goal is to give themselves plausible deniability. That's all it is. They have zero desire to change. They have zero desire to understand. If I tell you that, hey, we'll go back to the dark room. If I tell you you're in a dark room and if you want to see your way around, you're going to need this flashlight. And then you look at me and you tell me, hey, so why did you create this room to be like this? Why is it so dark? It's like it's very easy to get it light again. There's a switch on the wall. Just gotta go over and turn it on. And then you can see everything you want. And they're sitting in the middle of the room complaining that it's dark. And why is it dark? Who made it this dark? Why is it so dark? I can't see anything. It's dark. And then you try to hand them a flashlight just to start them off to get them to the switch. That's not enough light. I need more light than that if I'm going to do it. I need more light. I'm glad Angel is in the room because we get one of them. We get one of them. So let's read this verse. Let's read it, shall we? I hope you came with your your excuse cap on. I do hope you came with your excuse cap on, Angel. I want to see you wiggle your way out of this reading. Okay? Evil is not created. And I want you to tell me where in this verse it says evil. Okay? Please tell me where in this verse it says evil. Because y'all like to cherry pick stuff with zero understanding about anything you're reading. And I told you this week is a week I'm going to go in on people. So don't think that because you might be a subscriber or follower of the page doesn't mean I'm not going to light you up. Okay? Because one, you're lying. And two, you're lying on the one person you probably shouldn't lie on. I'm just going to give you some advice. Don't lie about the one person that don't lie. Okay? Okay. Here you go. Let's read the verse. Let's read all of it because I don't think Angel did any of the sort. This is what the Lord says to his anointed, to Cyrus, whose right hand I take hold of and subdue nations before him, and to strip kings of their armor, to open doors before him, so gates will not be shut. I will go before you and will level the mountains, and I will break gates of bronze and cut through bars of iron. I will give you hidden treasures, riches stored in secret places, that you may know that I am Lord, the God of Israel, who summons you by name. For the sake of Jacob, my servant, of Israel, my chosen, I summon you by name and bestow you with the title of honor, though you do not acknowledge me. I am the Lord, and there is no other. Apart from me, there is no God. I strengthen you, though you have not acknowledged me, so that from the rising of the sun to the place of its setting, people may know there is none beside me. I am the Lord, there is no other. I form the light and create the darkness. Notice the progression of the statement. I form the light and create the darkness. You can only have shadow with the presence of light. And you can only have darkness by the removal of light. When he takes his blessings off of you, the only thing left is darkness. It's not created, it's the absence of. The word create there is not to form out of nothing. It's like if I created a hole by removing something that was in the hole was there. It's the absence of something. But in conversation, I created the hole. I bring prosperity and create disaster. And he does. Just ask Pharaoh. Ask Pharaoh what happened to him. Ask Pharaoh. I, the Lord, do all these things. I can remove my presence from you and leave you absolutely destitute. I don't care what your question is. The reality, it is in relation to darkness. He is light. He is good. They're one and the same. If you don't understand that, that's on you. If you don't get that, that is on you. That has nothing to do with other people. However, if you want to believe that God created evil, feel free to believe that. Tell you what, the next time you screw up, blame God. Blame God. And darkness is not physics. You're looking for me to change my whole approach to things, huh? Okay, create darkness. Go ahead. Create darkness. I want to tell me how you create darkness. This ought to be really good. Do something that no human has ever done before. Create darkness. Tell me how you generate darkness. Please tell me how you generate darkness. I'll wait. Go ahead. Angel is going to do something that no physicist, no scientist, no one has ever done, ever. He or she is going to create darkness. Go for it. Look at the idiot answer. Look at the idiot answer. Turn off the light. You are dumb. Like, I'm seriously, like, you're not firing on all cylinders. That's not creating light, is it? Or creating dark, is it? Are you creating dark? You said you can create it. I want to, no. Don't take away light. Tell me how you create darkness. Genius, tell me. How do you create darkness? I am very curious about this. This ought to be really good. Tell me how you create darkness. To make from nothing something. Tell me how you create darkness. Go ahead. Do something that no scientist has ever done. Do something no scientist has ever done. How do you create darkness? And don't tell me turn off light. I told you that's how it's made. The absence of light is darkness. And you said, no, that's not true. That's what you told me. You, in all your brilliant wisdom, told me that it's created. I told you it's the absence of something. You told me no, because even I can create darkness. Then you go on to chime in with your dumb self and say, no, I just turn off the light. Did you make it out of kindergarten? When the sun sets, darkness is created. You know, Frank would be disappointed. Frank would, oh, no, no, trust me 2%. Trust me. This is the prime example of what they do when they have zero, zero intelligence. This is what they do. You see, here's what I'm going to make an excuse for what I do. And the best way to make an excuse for what I do is to make an excuse for what I do. You tell me God created something, and then in your explanation, you tell me that it's created by the removal of something. And I told you that is exactly how it works. But then you tell me I'm wrong, but you're right. There is only darkness where there is no light. I bet you can't say the same thing about darkness. Bet you. I bet you can't tell me. I bet you can't tell me this, that darkness will come in and overtake light. I bet you can't, since you said you can create darkness, do me a favor. Create darkness to overcome light. I want to see you do it. No, no, no. You ain't trying to show nothing. Don't backtrack now. Don't put on your brakes. Show me how darkness, when you turn on darkness, because you can create it, can overcome light. Go ahead. Show me a place where darkness can overcome light. I'm waiting. Show me how darkness can overcome light. Again, no. No. The absence of God will leave room for darkness. Within that darkness comes everything that is not God. I'm going to block you after this statement here, Angel, because you're an idiot, and I don't want idiots in this room. You're not willing to learn. You're just here for contentious means, and that's all you're going to be for. And I don't appreciate contentious means. You're not here for debate. You're not here for spirited intellectual conversation. You're just being an idiot at this point, and I'm going to block you after this point. Okay? Do not come back to my page. I don't want to see you here anymore. I have no reason to be friends with you. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. We're done. Okay? We are done. If you were here to try and make sense out of this, I could understand, but you're just being completely idiotic at this point, and there's no point to having you here. I don't want you to comply. I want you to be gone like that. See? Bam, gone, just like that. I can't stand stupidity. It's not even that you have to agree with me. Make your point make sense, or at least make your point be contrary to mine and not try to use mine to make yours. If I fill my thoughts with things that are not of God, he cannot dwell there. Case in point, Adam and Eve. Adam and Eve had two choices: listen to the devil by turning off the light, or listen to God by turning it on. See, when Adam and Eve were given the option, mostly Eve, of course, they turned off the light. They allowed darkness by the removal of light. It was one of the first things he made. Before anything else, before he even showed up, because he was not there, darkness was. Darkness was. And as soon as he showed up, let there be light. Light. And as soon as light occurred, darkness was separated. The absence of God yields everything that the absence of God yields. It might sound dumb, but it's true. It's like people that don't follow God, but want every sort of blessing that's possible. And when they don't get it, God doesn't exist. We are not talking about spirits, Gene. Not talking about spirits. Outside of the spirit realm, we're not even talking about spirits at this point. We are simply talking about the absence of God. Long before, long before you make the decision to do something dumb and sin, you allow the kernel of God to leave. And the more you let go of God, the less light you have, and the more prominent the dark. And since the dark can only produce stumbling, fumbling, running into things, harm, danger, you ever try getting up in the night to go to the bathroom and there's no light in your bedroom and there's something that you forgot to pick up at the foot of your bed? Do you cuss the light for not showing you? Do you cuss the light for not showing you the thing on the floor? Or do you cuss the dark because, man, it's so dark I can't see nothing in here? Now, would you have seen it if the light was on? When you make your bed in the darkness, it does not remove God's ability to get to you because the light switch is always there. But like he says, where can I go from your presence? If I hide in the darkness, you are there. When he says that, a lot of people will then say, see, that proves the point. He created darkness. He's in the darkness. He's not in the darkness. He can find you in the darkness. It's like when Adam and Eve hid. They thought they were hidden away. Consider that them saying, I'm in the dark, he won't find me here. The darkness can't overcome the light. He can see you. He can see through the darkness because he is light. He can see through evil because he is good. He is all good. Evil cannot abound where goodness is. It cannot because they are completely opposite. There is no evil good or good evil. They cannot exist. They're not synonymous. It is not a matter of him creating something. Let's go to hell. Is hell evil? Let me ask you that. Is hell evil? Yep, you are there. Is hell evil? Make sure you really think about this. Is hell evil. Hell is not evil. Hell is a place for evil people, but it's not evil. He created hell. He created that to put somebody in. Do you remember that song, If I Had a Wee Little Box I'd Put the Devil In? You remember that song? I don't know if you guys ever sang it when you were smaller. I wish I had a wee little box to put the devil in. I'd put him in and lock it up. So you remember that song? Like it's rummaging through my head. And as I'm listening to it in my head, I can see myself at 5 and 6 and 7 years old singing it in Bible class. It's man. Hell is a location reserved for the devil and his people. The evil that Satan allowed into his heart or into his world will be bound in hell with all the rest of the people that decide to do the same thing. The location itself is not evil, the inhabitants are. He created hell to house it. Consider that your dark room. There are things he tells us directly that he's done. That he's done. He created hell. He went off to prepare a place. People want to ascribe to God whatever they can to keep their excuses to live the life they will live. That's all it is. If you decide that God is partially evil, you're going to find a way to justify your behavior and call it not evil, or you'll call it okay because. See, when God demands perfection and there is no darkness in the light, but you have a little vice that you like, that you don't want to get rid of, you will try to justify your behavior by ascribing to God either that exact behavior or the allowance of that behavior or the reason for that behavior. That's what you'll do. Children have an amazing ability to lie. They're good at it. Well, you see, and look at how Eve did it, okay? Look at how they all did it. He goes to Adam first and he blames God. Blames God. Let me read your version of the Bible there, Miss Celia. Let's read your version of it, shall we? King James says, I form the light and create darkness. Let's see what the old King James says. The King James says, I form light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Read it again. Read it again. And read the first part before and create evil. Again, sentence structure is a hard thing for people to grasp. Read it again and read that verse again with the words just before it. before and create evil. Tell me what it says. I'm going to wait. Tell me what it says. I'm going to wait. And that's specifically for Celia. I trust me. I know you're on my side. I want you to show me something, though. I'm trying to show something. Just bear with me. Read the verse, depart just before it. Read it just before. What did it say just before? I make peace and create evil. Who hates peace? What is the opposite of peace? War. Okay, war. In order to have the antithesis of peace, you have to have something dark. I know, Celia, I understand. I know what you're saying. I'm having people to break this down because we will look for a key word. We'll take a voice, a verse, we'll take this, we'll take that, and then we'll just plaster a whole mindset with that's what it means. So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. If God created, this is how now we're gonna try and really dive into the nature of God, okay? And I want you to try and just focus for a minute to about the nature of God. Just for a minute. If God is all good, and he said specifically that he cannot be where darkness is, nor can he be where evil is. His words. How could he create evil? Now, let me take it one step further. If darkness is created by the absence of light, and where he is, there is no darkness, obviously the mere presence of God created what? I cast a shadow. Without me, there is no shadow. Without my presence, I cannot have a shadow. Do I create the shadow? The shadow is because of me. The shadow by nature is because of me. The mere existence of God, the mere existence of him, is an affront to darkness. You can't have one without the other. For something to be and not to be means the existence of one or the other. But one cannot abide while the other one abides in the same location. It's like wind. Wind either is present or it's not present. You can't have wind and no wind at the same time. You can't have wind and no wind at the same time in the same location. It is not possible. So did no wind create wind or did wind create no wind? You see what I'm saying? In the presence of God, there is zero darkness. No evil can abide there. If he put you in him, there is no darkness. It is not the creation of evil, it is the removal of good. It is the removal of good. When we use the term create, from nothing comes something. It is true. From nothing, from nothing comes something. From nothing comes something. It's true. If you can create something from nothing, that's creation, right? Okay. We have a God that was and is and always will be. And here comes the harder part of the Christian walk that most find difficult to go with. While he leaves us free will and the ability to say anything you want to him, we as humans always have to have a contentious statement with God. We want to be in charge so badly that his nature offends us. You know you can't get the upper hand on him. You have no say in the end, and that maddens us. So what do? We try to find a way to justify our actions, one, to delegitimize his position, two, or ignore him all the way out. In this life, you have two choices: believe him or don't. Believe him or don't. Believe that he has a set of standards or you don't. But when you try to find ways to minimize his sacrifice or minimize who he is or try and find a way around his rules, the only person that affects is you, not him. That's like my children going out to a friend's house. And my rule is, yo, you're back here at 6 and you go nowhere else but that house. And then my son goes to the house and then leaves and goes somewhere else and then calls me to pick him up and he's at somebody else's house that he wasn't supposed to be at. Then gets mad at me for not coming to pick him up at that house when I told him I'm not picking you up from anywhere else but the other house. Then goes on a diatribe about how horrible of a parent I am and why I just don't care about his safety and I don't care about any of the. But you left the house I told you to stay at to another house. You went there. I told you not to. I told you specifically I wasn't going to pick you up from any other house but that house. But now you're mad at me because I won't pick you up from a different house. You're mad at me because you went to a completely different location expecting me to follow because. And then you get mad at me and say, I don't care. You think, oh, the father, you don't care about me. You don't care about my safety. I did care about your safety. Hence why I told you to stay at that other house. You didn't care about your safety. You went to someone else's house. You left. You left. I didn't. I didn't change anything. My rules stayed the same. My logic stayed the same. But you're getting mad at me for something you did. You wouldn't be upset had I picked you up from that house and that's where you were. See, all these questions this week are going to come from a person that did exactly what I just exemplified in my child. They want to stay somewhere where God isn't and then get mad that God doesn't come there to them. And then they'll blame all kinds of circumstances, and they'll blame this and they'll blame that. They want God to be a genie. They want God to be okay with everything that they do. They want God to approve of them outside of his nature. So what did they do? God created evil, which gives me the right to do whatever I want. Because if he didn't create it, I wouldn't be doing it. So it's really his fault. Logically, if he had just done his job and not created evil, I wouldn't have this problem. It's justification for the behavior they have. That's all it comes down to. If God didn't want evil, why would he create it? Why? Why would he create it? So you're trying to tell me I created my children's disobedience? Did I create my children's lying? Did I create the situation for my child to leave the house I told him not to leave and go to another? No. You guys, they love free will until free will actually bites them first class. They love the idea of free will until free will just chomps them. All of a sudden now, it's God's fault that evil exists. Before, my body, my choice. I do what I want. I'm grown. You had all that energy. As soon as you realize there's a real punishment for what you're doing, well, God made evil. If he didn't want me doing this, he wouldn't have created evil. Blah, 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 blah. It's his fault. Okay, Adam. Okay, Eve. Okay, Adam. Okay, Eve. I thought you said that you had free will. Didn't you choose that? You chose life without God, right? So why would you expect anything of God to exist when you're choosing something apart from him? What? How can you expect mom's home cooking when you're not in mom's home? Like, come on, man. How you gonna go home every day to an empty house and expect mom's cooking to just be on the table? When you ain't talking to mom, you ain't home with mom, you just there. You're there in your own little one-bedroom apartment. And when you get home and you be like, man, why isn't there food on the table? Why didn't mom cook for me? Because you're not living with mom, idiot. You decide to go live on your own. You think the food's just going to magically appear? Mom's going to leave her home, come to your house, cook the food, and leave? That's not how it goes, bro. Why do you think that goes that way with God? You think he's just going to show up in your life when you're in full blown rebellion, give you all that he has about him, and let you continue to live in rebellion to him? That's not how it works. Just decide for yourself that you don't want anything to do with this so called God. Just make up your mind now that you want nothing to do with God. Regardless of what happens, you want nothing to do with God. He's evil. Okay? He created evil. He's a horrible father. He doesn't let me do what I want. Then leave. Don't listen to him. But stick to your guns, though. Okay? Stick to your guns. Just like that rebellious child that doesn't want to do what the mom says. Just stand by your guns. Stand by your guns. If you got that much balls, just stand by your guns. You know what's eating you up? Why you keep questioning all this stuff? Your behavior is eating you up. Your location is eating you up. The darkness is killing you. Frank Peretti, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Okay. Frank Peretti did a sermon one time called The Chair. The Chair. And it was one of the best analogies I have ever seen to describe man. Ever. I'll give you a little rundown synopsis of what it was. Frank Peretti, The Chair. It's on YouTube still. When you see it, he's an animated fellow. Okay, you might if animation of a person that his voice changed, but the lesson, oh my word, the lesson is amazing. The book is not called The Chair. The sermon was called The Chair. He said, you imagine that you're in a room, a big, round, cornerless, dark room. You get placed in there. And it's pitch black. You can't see anything. You don't know what's on the floor. You don't know what's on the wall. So you start feeling yourself around, right? Normally you can feel on a corner and you can pick a corner and, okay, I know what corner I'm at. It's a voidless, it's just rounded walls, nothing else but a dark room. And you feel your way around this room. And he's doing, when you watch it, you'll see how hilarious he is. And he finds this chair and he can feel it and he identifies it as a chair. It's like, oh, a chair. Whew. So he sits down in the chair. Now he thinks he has a point of reference because it's different than the walls. He can sit, think, focus, try and realize where he's at. But this is familiar to him. It's a chair. So he sits for a while and then he says, I'm going to branch out and see if there's anything else in the room. So he starts feeling out around the room while still sticking to the chair. So he's putting it. Then he feels brave and he steps out a little further past the chair to find some more and comes right back to the chair. Pretty soon he feels really happy about the area that he's in around the chair and he starts dancing around the chair and he's like, oh yeah, this is good. Mind you, he's still in the dark. Still in the dark. Dancing around the chair. Da, 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 da. And then he stops and picks up the chair and walks off. Because in his mind, the chair is a fixed point of reference for him. I can identify with this chair and but the room is still dark. You have no idea, zero idea if there's anything else dangerous in that room. But you pick up the chair that was your fixed point of reference. and walk off. A fixed point of reference cannot be moved. The same way that light cannot be overcome by dark. You pick up your chair from the location that's fixed, which is the ground. That's point. The point that the chair is sitting on is the safe point. The chair is dependent on that safe point. You are now dependent on the chair. But you take up the chair and walk away from the safe point to put the chair somewhere else that may not be safe. But you consider the chair your safety. That's how people operate with God. They expect God to be the chair. And you get happy with God and you're dancing around and yay, God. And then you take your version of God and move on. And not realizing that you have a version of God. You don't have a fixed point of reference. You don't. You carry around this chair and you can sit on it and people can see that you're sitting. Okay? People can see it, but it's not fixed. It goes wherever you go. Any whim you get, you take the chair with you and you take that as your version of God, which is why you see people having so many denominations and versions of God and ideas of God because they're not set on God. They have a chair that they got from a location that they thought was God and they moved on with it. See, but a fixed point of reference would be trying to lift that chair and it's bolted to the floor. It's bolted. You can't move it. You can only sit. You can only sit. God don't move for us. He don't move for nobody. He doesn't change. And look at this. Listen to this part. This is the part that's going to really piss some people off. Even if he created evil. You ready for this? Even if God created evil, who are you to tell him he can't? Now, this is where people will be like, but he didn't, but he didn't. I'm going to ask you again. Even if God decided tomorrow that he created evil, that was the case, what then? Who are you to tell him he can't? What have you done? This is him talking to you like he did Job. If you Did you create anything at all to talk to me about doing what I do? Have you done any? It's like my 5-year old or 6-year old or 7-year old coming up to me and telling me how to run my home. Boy, if I wanted to lock you in your room, I'm going to lock you in your room. If I want to leave you with one pair of pants it is. He is God, okay? Is he really God to you? Is he really God to you? Thank you. Is he really God to you? If he is all knowing, omnipresent, all powerful, who are you to tell him what he can and can't do? Like, honestly, how do we get to the point where we decide that we bigger than God to tell him, you ain't doing right by me? And if you call me crazy for thinking that, fine, then I'm crazy for thinking that. We got some brass balls to think we can just go talk to God and tell him, hey, you might be who you say you are, but I mean, he can take it. Don't get me twisted. He can take it. He'll listen to your nonsense and your ramblings and all that stuff because it still doesn't change who he is. but turn the light to you. How do you get the gumption to do that? How did you get to the point where you decided that you can go and puff your chest up to God? Let's turn the tables on you atheists for a minute. If you're asking God all these questions about why he created anything, you ain't created nothing. How are you going to come talk to God about anything? Come on. Who are you? Who are you? Name something you've done that could give you the ability to talk to God as though he's your child. I mean, you can feel free to do it. The consequences are going to be fun for you, but I mean, go ahead and do it. I sculpt. I make tables. I do pottery. I paint. I draw. My paintings and drawings have never once spoken back to me and tell me, hey, you should have used blue instead of green on me. Or the clay tells me, you should have fired me differently, or you should have put a different color on me. You should have spun me differently. If they did, I can easily grab it and say, oh, really? Okay. How about we start over? How about we start over then? And then they'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa. What do you mean start over? It means I break you. It means I hold you up over my head and I smash you into the ground. I pick up your bits and I put you in water to soak for years and years and years until you come back to a soft consistency. I slap you back down on my spinning table and I mold you again. How about we do that? Or, or you can understand I made you the way I made you. You see, at times we forget who God is, or we ignore who God is, or we get like a petulant child and we don't care who God is. My advice to you, if you're an atheist and you don't believe, don't. Don't believe. But here's the thing, behave like you don't believe. Act like you don't believe. I mean, you won't, but try. Live like there is no God. Bet you can't do it. Um, I remember a joke once about scientists and God. Stop me if you've heard this one. The scientists came to God and said, we no longer need you. We've found a way to create man. And God said, oh, really? Okay, cool, cool. Um, how about we have a competition to see who can build a better man? And the scientist said, sure, and we'll win. And God said, you go first. I'll go last. You go first. So the scientists get all their stuff together. And then they go outside to grab some earth. And as they're heading outside, God says, where are you going? They said, we're going to go get some dirt. We need this for the first phase of our creation. He says, whoa, 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 whoa. Get your own dirt. Get your own dirt. Try and create something for yourself that's all yours without something that's of mine. Go ahead. Can't do it. Get your own dirt. If you really believe that there is no God, act like it. Act like there is no God, and then we'll see what happens. A lot of y'all will talk. That's all you are, just talk, talk, talk. But you won't step out and do anything. You want to stand in your corner and scream at God and hate him. And all he's hearing is, that's all he's hearing. He's hearing a little rat screaming in a corner. And he'll let you. He'll let you. Until you come to him and says, Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner. And then you realize how great life can be when he's the leader. So no, man, God did not create evil. Evil is the absence of God. And when you turn your back on the ever living God and do not want him in your life, evil will be right there to rejoice with you. He'll be happy. I'm sorry I was late this morning, but things should be really good from here on out, I'm hoping, with my show's quality in terms of sound and all that stuff now, too. So tomorrow, however, we have a whole nother kettle of fish to tackle. And so we're going to read the next show. Every time I get back to my page, it's flooded with things. And I have to go all the way back down to my. So, Thursday. Why did God harden Pharaoh's heart? The answer is very simple. It's very simple, but it's not the kind of thing people like to hear. Why did God harden Pharaoh's heart? So, why did he send Moses to Egypt to free the Jews and then harden Pharaoh's heart? Exodus 7:3. Read that, but don't just read Exodus 7:3. Read Exodus 7 and also read Exodus 6, because we will be. Read Exodus 6 and Exodus 7, so that he would not let the Jews leave, thereby making it necessary to set his 10 plagues loose on Egypt. You ever notice that they always take the side of the bad guy before they take the side of God? Anyone find that kind of odd? Anyway, doesn't that pretty much negate Pharaoh's free will in the matter and punish all the people of Egypt because of it? Um, it will be an interesting show. It might be short because it's not a whole lot to break apart there to make that answer happen. But I will do my best to explain how their viewpoint about hardening a heart makes no sense from the perspective of Pharaoh. I'll tell you why. Because it says it in the book. It says it. Why? Um, I don't think many will want to read it, but we'll go through it. Again, sorry for how I sound. Yes, I am sick. It only happened last night. Start off with sinuses, and now I feel like crap. But I am not going to miss a show, regardless of how sick I am. Just so you know, an illness will not keep me from doing what I got to do. He told me to do it. He's going to give me the energy to do it. So it's not even a matter. I trust him to do it. It's not even that. I can't even say I trust him to do it. He said he was going to do it, so I'm not worried. The hit squad, not a hit squad, man. Why did I go all the way back in time with that one? Savage Patriots will be on at 1:30 Pacific and 4:30 Eastern today. Be sure you chime into that one. We'll be talking through a bunch of the stuff happening politically. I have elderberry extract, but I also have the elderberry root. So I'm going to make me an elderberry tea when I get upstairs and boil it up, and should be good. Take a nap before the next show, and then take a nap after that show before Too Strong. With this week being the way it is, if you do have friends who have asked you these questions, do not be afraid to tell them because God said so. That's my only advice. Do not be afraid to tell them because God said so. No, because I'm not going to them to have them test and ram anything up my nose. No. If it is, I'm going to treat it the way I treat everything else. Naturally. My body has an immune system that God created. I won't let him deal with it. I'm not stressing over that. That man touched lepers. You think that C word has any power over me? Psh, please. Please. I ain't going to no doctor for that. It's a cold. Come on. Please. If my back were better, I'd just go running. That would take care of it right away. That would be the way to go. I'd just go running. If I was to run 2 or 3 miles today, cold will be done. Done. Adrenaline kicks it behind. But I can't run. So I'm not gonna run. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But I'm gonna go make my tea. So what was I saying? In any case, we'll see you guys at 4:30 Eastern. And you're not going to see me missing a day because I'm sick. It's not going to happen. Okay? Okay, so don't worry about that. Monday, though, I might be late because I do have my MRI on Monday at 7 a.m. my time, and the show goes on at 9 a.m. my time. So I might be late. It might be closer to 10 or 11 that I do the show on Monday, but I still will be doing a show on Monday. I just might be late, but I do have my MRI at 7 a.m. on Monday. So we'll see how, and I'll have the results by then, hopefully, by showtime. So I'll let you know what happened there. We'll see how that turns out. We'll see you guys on Savage Patriots in another couple hours, 3 to be exact. And we'll chat tomorrow morning about Pharaoh. Wisdom calls to you from the street. So please, please, please find wisdom. Peace.
Hold tight the dreams, for if dreams die, rely on yourself and no way. Believe